Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about how nutritional changes with the way we eat, particularly our diets, are very important for chronic disease and cancer. It's a big part of our nutrition. As we continue here with our presentation, I recommend you pause and look at our video disclaimer, but we're going to get right into the subject matter. Here we have I brought up this so we could see, look how popular diets have become, or at least eating recipes, things of that nature. Look at all these stars from Food TV Network. And I think as I'm glancing by here, I don't see necessarily healthy food, but comfort food, foods that, people can do for holidays and, sweets and desserts and these kinds of things. But this really doesn't bring health to people. And yet it's really what's, driving a lot of our dietary decisions and recipes at home. But we need to look at food in a different way. And it's the old Hippocrates quote. Some of you have heard this before. Let food be thy medicine, and let thy medicine be thy food. And we're going to take a look real quick. Look at the amount of diets there are: vegetarian, low calorie, so many of these. But which one of these is really good for chronic diseases and cancer? We're going to really talk about that. And then we look at an estimated amount of 67% of Americans are overweight, and I'll talk about that in a moment. And about 95% of all diets fail, and we want to know why they fail so quickly within 6 months. But there's Gersten diet, and Gersten's been around for a long time. Great whole food, organic, juicing, lots of vegetables, very powerful in the area of antioxidant, live food enzymes, helping the body heal. Real popular diet for cancer patients. And really, as you can take a look here from Gersten, these types of foods and diets are helpful for patients. Let's take a look at a few other ones. So there are a lot of good diets that have already been out there that people have used in the past. Let's take a look at the paleo diet, which is a real popular one, increasing the protein. And here we're talking about quality protein, like grass-fed, antibiotic, hormone-free meats, lower the carbohydrate or the glycemic index of the foods, and we'll talk about that. And then the higher fiber foods, which are more rich in nutrients, increasing more omega-3 and 6 fatty acids, salmon, flax seeds. And by eating real unprocessed foods, we get more potassium by doing that. And we get more alkaline foods when we eat more fruits and vegetables and not just protein in the diet, and a lot more vitamins and nutrients when we're eating plants. So this is another diet that people have used and is another good quality diet as well. Let's take a look at Dr. D'Adamo's Eat Right for Your Blood Type diet, where basically the diet is based on lectins, which are protein substances, as you can see here, commonly found in foods, with glycoprotein, glycolipids on the surface of these cell membranes, and how this impacts the sticking together, the agglutinating of these cells. So it impacts circulation and cell-to-cell communication. That's at least the principles behind these diets. But we have to look a little bit further, and we're going to, in 2008 or 9, we developed the Stupid Diet, which was my wife and I who wrote the book. So I have quite a little bit of background here in nutrition and dietary health. But when you look at these diets, particularly, we look here at the diets like Jenny Craig. These are not the good ones, Weight Watchers, but we look at things like alkaline foods, raw foods, Gersten, paleo, zone, eating the right ratios within our foods, anti-inflammatory, which has become really popular, including Dr. Andrew Weil promoting that blood type. These are all good diets, whole food, organic foods principally. But before we get into these, becoming food smart, what we need for chronic disease and cancers, let's take a look at the purpose of, I think, why we're not eating so well. And I think it's because we're looking for happiness in all the wrong places. And here we have somebody going in the refrigerator, grabbing that, I deserve that chocolate cake, it's been a hard day. And I think food is so connected to our emotions. I want to bring this up because I think we need to be successful, and we have to understand, why are so many diets failing. Here I have a piece from the BBC News. It talks about how so many diets fail, and why. Because they're saying that diets are set up to fail. People are going to only stay on those diets for a short amount of time, and then they're going to go off those diets. Studies show, you can see right here, that somewhere between 50 to 80% of dieters will gain their weight back. And it's because they're not making life changes. And I think it's because we have to see food as medicine. We have to see food as part of our health, as our body. What we put into our mouth is not simply emotional, but it's health. And there's a difference there. And so when we make food our emotions, here's another good article. Eating has never and never will simply be about satisfying physical hunger. People have connected food to emotions. They've done it for years. If you're feeling down and depressed, chocolate, chocolate chip cookies, whatever your craving is, that can help you. Hormonal changes and food cravings, all kinds of things. So are we really eating when we're hungry? Or are we simply eating because we're craving? And do we eat because we're depressed, or we don't have a perfect image or view of ourselves or something going on in our life? So we need to see food as a powerful changer of the way we live and impacting our health. So food has to go beyond emotions. It has to go beyond the guilt, depression, sadness, or eating out of the wrong kinds of cravings, okay? And that's really where it goes deeper. And I think people, we have to think about that. We have to be conscious when we're putting food in our mouth. Is this going to give me life or take it away? I think it's that simple, but it's hard. And once that connects, you can have some really powerful changes that take place in your life. So this is all about becoming food smart. And I'm going to break this down for you, because once you're food smart, you'll know how to select foods, and you can create any menu, anything you want. You have total control over that. I'm going to show you in 2009 or so, we developed this book, The Stupid Diet. So you can see this on Amazon. And I think we've had 5,000 copies of patients looking at this. And really what this teaches you more than anything is to become food smart. And I'm going to go over that with you here. What does it mean to be food smart? Organic, grass-fed, how to select foods. Raw, with more of the enzymes in the foods. Juicing and lots of vegetables and quality fruits. Hypoallergenic. When and if we choose to eat grains, depending on our metabolism, they're going to be better selection. Quinoa instead of just wheat, because these are allergy foods. Wheat, peanuts, corn, dairy, soy. These are allergy foods that can harm people. Alkalinity means more vegetables and quality fruits. Glycosemic, foods that are lower in sugar. When they go into the body, they don't release massively like sugars. They come in slowly, and it's easier for the body to adapt. Better for your insulin receptors. Immune supportive foods to keep the immune system strong. Just by decreasing your allergies, your immune system will improve. Detoxifying, how do we cleanse the body with juice fasting and drinking water and things of that nature that we can do through food we eat. And then anti-inflammatory foods, which we know so much is connected to inflammation and disease. We take a look here at the American food diet. I mean, this is the American food pyramid that's taught in schools. Look at the base here. These are all the grains. No one cares whether these grains are high in sugars, high glycemic. They may be very acidic, causing problems that way. They're definitely not, many of them might be GMO, they're not organic. That means they can have cancer-causing issues. So you look at these, and none of them are hypoallergenic, meaning a lot of them are high allergy-causing, like wheats and things like that. So then we go to the vegetables and the fruits, and they're loaded with pesticides and herbicides, which are cancer-causing substances. And so I know it's not easy to eat, but now we have communities all through the United States that sell organic foods. It's just a matter of us being educated on where to find them and buy them in bulk, and it become more cost-effective. The protein category is way up high, and the quality is not even mentioned. Antibiotic and hormones in these, synthetic. This is harming people. And then up here, eat a little bit of sugar, they're saying, and don't eat that many fats. Well, what about omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, which really help heal? So this is old information and harmful, and it doesn't take into account these food smart principles that we're going to be talking about. Let me bring something else in. I think that's very helpful, just to give us a little overview. There was a big HBO special called The Food System and the Weight of the Nation was the name of this program, and it was really to help Americans with obesity. And here's the problem that we see right off the bat when we're looking at this is, I'm going to just pull this up here, individual choices that people make when they're eating and physical activity. People are not educated to know how to make food smart choices. Most aren't. I think a lot of you who do research and have been in health for a while, you have a better idea than most. But eating healthy really requires you getting educated. And that's what I'm going to do here, is give you some education, real basic, real simple, that can impact the way you eat. And the U.S. food system is really influenced by a financial model of selling really a lot of garbage processed products that people buy in bulk. And that's and those foods are powerful because they're when people eat at McDonald's, they're not only getting a cheap meal, but they're fulfilling all these emotional things very cheaply in rich, high caloric, poor nutrient foods, which cause disease. It's very simple. So let's take a look here at what Food Smart looks like. Food Smart looks like, look at this from the bottom down. This is what's in the base of the diet, mainly lots of vegetables and quality fruits. Even when you look at this, you're juicing, you're eating a lot more fruit, vegetables and fruits, and you're getting live enzymes and nutrients from these foods. In addition, you're making better decisions. They're lower in the glycemic index. For example, bananas, occasionally they have high sugar, but blueberries, which have more antioxidants and they're lower in sugar, is a better food selection because we're using these principles here that we see on the right. Grass-fed, antibiotic, hormone-free meats. Let me talk about this in relationship to cancer. There are studies that talk about meat causing cancer, that it impacts bacteria in the GI tract, and other studies that talk about meat causing cancer. If the meat is grass-fed, antibiotic, hormone-free meat, and it is eaten in the right proportions, it actually can be cancer protective. We know that they contain conjugated linoleic acids, which can help prevent colon cancer, for example. Fish that is lower in mercury, tilapia, cod, these kinds of fish, you can get lists of these that are lower in heavy metal toxicities and PCBs, very good. Look at garlic, onions, immune supportive type foods that you're using. Even spices here can be included, curcumin and many other spices. Hypoallergenic. There are some people who do need to eat grains. Look how far up grains are. They should be small in the diet. For athletes that are doing major running events, they need to do a little bit more of this. But when you look at this, grains in general cause allergies in people. But there are some people who, if they don't eat grains, they lose weight too much, too fast, and they're very thin and they can't maintain their metabolism. They do well with hypoallergenic grains. Quinoa, buckwheat, amaranth, these are better types of grains. Detoxifying foods, teas, chaga tea, padiarco, cat's claw, these are immune modulatory detoxifying teas that people can have. Yarrow, and then coming into nutrients, having the right supplement program put together for you by a physician who knows what they're doing, helping fill those gaps in your particular health. And then look, when we do have sugar and we eat something sweet like dark chocolate, it has benefits. And look at all these principles: organic, grass-fed, raw, fruits and vegetables, hypoallergenic when we're eating our grains, foods that are lower in allergy content. Alkaline, lots of fruits and vegetables, that's really alkaline. Low glycemic, foods that aren't very high on the sugar list, that don't make our glucose go crazy. And immune supportive foods, detoxifying foods, and anti-inflammatory foods. Look at what a big deal this is. The inflammation plays a big role to disease. Where does disease come from? We look at this. Inflammation is really, when we look at diets, really where we can start. Being overweight leads to inflammation. Eating foods that cause inflammation leads to inflammation. But it also comes from infections, chemical toxins, and heavy metals. This is why people need to clean these substances out of their body. It's a necessity, and you need to do that with the right treatment and oversight, and even promote that through dietary direction. Let me show you something that's quite interesting. One of the more popular diets now making its way is this idea of anti-inflammatory foods, which is actually a great is also part of what we talk about in health. And this is Dr. Andrew Weil, who's always been a champion of alternative food, medicine and healthy foods, preventing heart disease, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, age-related diseases, rheumatoid arthritis, and you name it. A lot of diseases related to inflammation. So how do we do that? We do that by knowing what our food choices are and making the best choices. Diet is critical. And that has to be married, the good food choices, with our exercise, our shopping, knowing how to cook and eat healthy, fast, that fits our lifestyle, and then detoxifying. And that also includes spiritual, emotional de-stressing that we need in today's very fast-paced society. So this is a great balance to maintain health in our lives. And as this is a process for each person. It's not an overnight thing. Look at this. I'm just going to bring in some basic benefits to exercise that you may have not thought of, just that help. We know it helps the body. We know it helps on many levels. Reducing stress. Look at that. This is from an article taken from the 13 mental health benefits of exercise. And these are one of those many articles you can find as you're surfing the web. This is very true because it's basic data. It boosts happy chemicals, serotonin in the brain, and endorphins, improves self-confidence, enjoying exercising if you're going outdoor, breathing fresh air if you live in a good area, prevent cognitive decline of the brain. Very important for chronic disease patients who have brain fog. Exercise helps circulation and oxygen to the brain, alleviate anxiety, boost brain power through exercise, sharpen your memory through exercise, control addictions through exercise. So there's so much here why exercise should be a part of our life, and we need to find what works for us. Some people, it might be a 5-minute fast, intense workout 2 to 3 times a day. Others walking, others jogging, swimming, lifting, whatever works for you. Yoga, Pilates for back stretching and breathing. You have to find what works for you and what ties into feeling good. And one of the tricks to good exercise is you feel energetic afterwards. Sometimes if you over-exercise, particularly when you're trying to heal from chronic diseases and cancer, it's not a good idea because you're going to strain your body. You want to be energized, feel good. So sometimes short bursts can have a stronger impact in making you feel good. And this is a whole idea of an entire change in our lifestyle. It's about changing the way we view food and how it connects to our body, connecting it to our full person, and even including a very important idea of prayer as a form of exercise, spiritual exercise. There are different types of prayer. We pray for people in intercession. We have centering prayer, meditative prayer, contemplative prayer. For me, I love reading the scriptures, and the scriptures give me the word of God, and they strengthen me, and it helps balance and relax me, and empowering words. And people praying, when I pray, I feel the power of God bringing peace and strength into my life. And this is very important for everybody. Look at the connections of prayer. Relaxing the body. Just looking at the medical benefits, we know there's miraculous benefits too. Secondary control to the body. It gives healing to the body. It's positive, and it helps us to focus on that we're not the center of the universe, that instead, we are a part of what God has created, and we can, through our prayers, help others and balance our lives and essentially live in more peace. And people that pray live longer and have faith live longer. That's been done in studies. So it's about finding a balance. And so I hope here in this brief understanding of becoming food smart, I'm going to go back up to this real quick here because I want you to see this. Being food smart really means knowing how to select your foods. I'm eating organic and grass-fed, hormone, antibiotic-free meats, organic fruits and vegetables. You can get those in farmer markets all across the country, really at inexpensive prices. When you go on the offbeat path, there's a number of these. Raw foods, eating more fruits and vegetables, juicing. There's so many great recipes. You can use a Vitamix if you want the fiber, or get a juicer just to juice. And you can see all the benefits. There's lots of books. For example, if you're juicing beets, you get glutathione, which detoxes the liver. And you can see how these things tie together. When you're eating grains, make better grain decisions. If you're going to have some grains, let them be hypoallergenic. Try quinoa or amaranth or buckwheat or smaller amounts of brown rice. Alkaline, that's again in the fruits and vegetables. Glycemic balancing, making the decision whether you're eating fruits, vegetables, grains, those that release sugar slower. And you can get that just by getting a list of glycemic foods. Very easy. Immune supportive. And we have all these inside of our book, The Stupid Diet, which kind of gives a quick glance of these and recipes. But immune supportive foods are foods that help bolster the immune system. Garlic, onions, spices, all have that benefit. But it's even reducing the allergies and increasing the enzymatic live foods is going to help your immune system quite a bit. And then anti-inflammatory, eating healthy fats. There's been this understanding that fats are bad for you. They're really not. It's the quality of the fats that you're eating. So I just wanted to give you an overview. Becoming food smart, and then all of a sudden your recipes explode, and there's so much you can do to help yourself. So I hope that this gave you an idea. If you're dealing with chronic disease, chronic Lyme disease, complex fibromyalgia, autoimmune diseases, cancer, that's what we treat at our center. So you'd be happy, if you want to contact us, we'll be happy to help you with any questions you might have. But in addition to that, start looking at the food choices you're making. Food has power. You can find all kinds of books on antioxidant values of foods, nutritional values of food. Start eating them raw, start cooking with them. Simple recipes. that start improving your quality of life. It's really about getting a balance that's going to work for you. So I hope this was helpful. God bless you. As you improve your diet, you will see all kinds of benefits, even beyond my short list here. You will see your immune system working better. You won't, for those who have infections, your biofilm communities will go down. Your immune system will react better. Cancer patients will detoxify better. Their immune system will function better. For those who don't have disease, they can prevent it. Diabetes and heart disease are very preventable with good lifestyle, diet, and exercise. So I hope this was helpful, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us.